Hello, happy beaders. I'm Joyce Trowbridge with Just Bead It, and I am here to do our Ombre multi-strand bracelet today. Happy Saturday. Great day to bead together, isn't it? Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. How are you? How are you doing this fine Saturday? Who is ready to do some beading today, or at least look at beading, right? Sometimes we just want to be inspired and then we bead later, and sometimes we want to bead together. I love all of those options. Totally love all of those options, right? Hello, hello. Welcome. Hi, Eugenia. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Sharon. Hello. Welcome. Good to see you all on here. Hi, Cheryl. Oh, so glad to be beading with you too. Oh, let's see. How are you? Hi, Joy. Hi, Robin. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining in. How are you doing? Hi, Joy. Hi, Catherine. Hello, hello. Hi, Pam. Hi, Evelyn. Good to see you. Hi, Christine. Hi, Sharon. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, it's so wonderful to see all these people from all over. Welcome, everyone. So glad to be here with you today. So, as always, let's see. Where is my stuff here? I got things a little discombobulated over here. All right, so let's see. If you want your written instructions, where can you find it? In PDF form, you can find it on our JustBeadItConcord.com in the Facebook Live section in the past tab. Thank you. I know, I kind of like, we did this in July and I keep kind of like leaving it on here. I have my, my summer, you know, my mermaid sun catcher here that I have. And then I have my, my ornament. I just like, I don't know, it just left it. I moved my pumpkins though, and I realized I should have probably have got it back over here. Hi, Janny. Yeah, you know, it's nice to have cool weather though from Kansas. We had a very sunny morning where I am, and all of a sudden it got totally cloudy. We're supposed to have a pretty big downfall of rain and wind coming tomorrow. I know, no necklace. I did not grab a necklace today. I got my pumpkin earrings on though. I had to put pumpkin earrings, and I put a bracelet on. So that's as far as I go. Sometimes I can't wear necklaces. Kind of had a headache day and decided I better not put that. Yeah, no necklace, but I got my earrings and I got my bracelet. Hello, Christine. I am so sorry. Hey, you know, sometimes that happens. We get busy. You know, fortunately, I love having people on during the live, but I also love it when I see that people are watching the replays. So don't be afraid to watch the replays. They are available to watch anytime after after the live. So glad that you got to join us today. Hello, Alicia and Christine and Mike and April, my sisters on here, and Stacy. Hello. So you can get our PDF on our Facebook page the PDF, sorry. PDF on our website. You can get the PDF on our Just Bead It Happy Beaders group in the files. And that way you can get one that's easier to print. But if you want just the JPEGs and leave it as a photo in your albums, you can find that in our event page and on our Facebook page and in the Happy Beaders group. Hello, Carolyn. Hello, Sandra. Oh, look at all these wonderful people. So, of course, we always have our little written instructions available on the day of our class. So, if you've gotten our kit before, after the class, you will get a paper copy. But before the class, you'll just get the lovely kit. So, I got my little kit right here, ready to go. And we have so many beautiful colorways that we've done. It is so fun. It's so easy. It's wonderful. You know, it's really fun to create with seed beads and making these color changing bracelets. For your tools, you'll need a pair of crimping pliers. I'm using just the standard crimping pliers, but if you use magical crimpers or entire crimpers, those will work also. Well, I take that back. If you're using magical crimpers, you are going to probably need to change your crimps from the ones that are in the kits, because the ones in the kits don't really work with the magical crimpers. But the Omtara or the regular crimpers work. So that is what I'm using today. And then 2 pairs of chain nose pliers to open and shut jump rings. A pair of round nose pliers to make the loop on the little dangle. And a pair of wire cutters. Thank you, Joanne. Yes, I'm having so much fun. We made so many Spirit of Autumn earrings where I have ones that are just like plain, you know, some Halloween theme, and I've been wearing them like crazy because they're so fun. I love them, love them, love them. And these bracelets, I love these bracelets too. And that you just can change the look so much, so quickly. So while everybody, oh, look at that. We got April sitting, putting the links for the instructions in the comments. So if you're having problems finding them, you can grab the link in the comments. If you are, she will also post, if you're not part of our Just Bead It Happy Beaders group, you really should, because it's exciting. It's fun. We get to show lots of fun things together, and I love it. I'm going to flip the camera so I can go over, get things going here. So today, look at all those fun colors that we're doing. And then I have my earthy rainbow on today with our little fun dangle tassel. Now, I actually have one with a silver on today because we ran out of the gold ones, which is what we used because we used antique brass on these. But we did get them back in, so I'm going to switch mine out later. So if you did get that kit, it has antique brass. So I just wanted to go over a few things. Next week, see if we can zero in on this a little bit. Next week, we are doing our Q&A. Well, first off, we're doing a photo contest. And if you do anything that has beads in it, or using beading techniques for Halloween, or just, you know, jewelry or products. Hey, if you did those earrings last week or the pumpkin earlier this month, those count too. Take a photo, hashtag JBI Halloween 2021, and enter yourself into, okay, context. That was supposed to be an S. Some reason. It's so funny when I do silly things like that. Contest. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. Okay, so use this hashtag, and then on the 30th, hashtag by 11:59 p.m. on October 29th, the day before, next Saturday, the 30th, is going to be our Q&A with me. We're going to have a Halloween edition. We are going to have the photo contest. Anyone that enters with this hashtag will be entered into our spin the wheel contest. We'll put it in a name generating wheel thing and have some prizes. We're also going to have some little trivia and little fun games to play during our Q&A. But if you have any questions to ask me about beading, please, please, please email me at joyce@JustBeadItConcord.com. Your questions ahead of time. Please try to email them by the 29th, by the end of the 29th. That way I would be able to pull items to be able to show under the camera. I can kind of answer questions on the spot during the Q&A and some things, but it's so much easier if I can pull ahead of time the materials and the items needed to show whatever it is. So email at joyce@JustBeadItConcord.com by October 29th, by the end of the day anyway. So that is, I think this is going to be a lot of, oh, I'm so glad you're back, Joy. I know it's really funny how sometimes you can get kicked off, isn't it? It's like glitchy. So hashtag JBI Halloween 2020 with any Halloween autumny inspired pieces that you are doing, that you have done this month or you are still doing. You have a whole week to enter those in. I will accept, we say Halloween, but I will take autumn themed things too. So that is next. So that's that. I think you got that on there. Hi, Catherine. Welcome. Yep. I see you on there. That is so wonderful. And then we have, move things out of the way. The following, oh shoot, is that the 6th? Yeah, November 6th is our cuff. Now, our Chevron cuff bracelet. Now, if you were here, part of, April did that contest with Beadalon last month, and then I did one in February, and in February they gave us this yellow chevron and this flat wire. We finally were able to order the enameled chevron chain and the flat wire, so now we have them so we can make a cuff together. So we have these beautiful colors. They are named after their chain. So most of these are pretty obvious in there when you see them up on the Etsy. I will say though, this one is called Rhodonite, and even though it's dark blue, it's kind of like a bluey purple. I'm not sure why it's called Rhodonite, to be honest, because the Rhodonite that I know is pink, but the pink has a different name. So that's the only one that might get confusing when you go see them on our Etsy. They're not quite up yet, but they are going to be up very, very, very soon. Like within, who knows, April might even get that up while we are doing this class, or it's going to get up tomorrow. I know it does look more like lapis, doesn't it? That's kind of what I thought too. Now, I did do a search for blue Rhodonite just to see, and it did come up with sodalite, so I'm thinking that now that's like another, maybe a new name for sodalite, which is, lapis's friend. It gets mixed up with lapis. Lapis has the pyrite in it, but the sodalite doesn't. There's other differences too, but that's like the main difference. So those are really fun. We're going to use this great 5mm flat wire to do the base and wire on that chevron chain with some beads. These are great because they fit just about anyone on there. just like that, because it's a cuff and they hold on really well. You can shape it to your wrist to make it a little bit better. You can make them a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. Not much bigger, but enough. I'm actually pretty happy with these sizes, because normally it's hard for me to make a cuff that I feel comfortable with. So this is, so I'm really happy with it. So this one is antique brass. We have gold, rose gold, silver, and copper. So that is what's coming new. Now let's dive into this beautiful bracelet that we are doing today. Our let's move that out of the way. We're going to do our Ombre seed bead bracelet. We are using, let's pull this beautiful kit out. I am making a second one of this one. I already made one, but now we need to make one from, I made that one in my sister's size here. And it is adjustable, by the way, but we do have a few different size variation on the count, just so that you can kind of get a little bit closer to the size variation you would like. Or you can make it exact if you need and not use the extension. I like to use the extension because sometimes in the summer I'm a little more swollen from the heat than I am in the winter. So we have our size 8 seed beads in, oh, that's what I was going to do. So I did say 125 and 50 on there, but really a lot of these we don't need 50. It's supposed to have a little less than symbol on it, and I forgot to put that on there. I just realized. So that this is just a rough, you know, if you have at least that in a color, then you're good to go. That means that if you wanted to, you could play around with B, C, and D, because those all have the same amount. So you would be able to, in the package, and you can kind of change your colorways if you wanted to. If you wanted to switch beads around or something, you could. Oh. Houston, we have a problem. I just want to point out, if you get this is the newest one, and it just went back up there. And I'm going to switch these out. So I don't think anyone has this one yet. This one's going out up today. But I just realized they got labeled in the wrong color. So I'm going to just switch these out real quick. This one's supposed to be B. Okay, you just can't get good help when you hire your family, right? No, I'm just kidding. I love my family. I am so grateful that we can work together and do these. But sometimes, whoopsie, there we go. But that means we know exactly who did it, right? Oopsies. You know, Laura, I think it's being cranky for a lot of people. We've had a few people got put up on there. Oh, maybe that's why. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah, the Pantone, they probably called it Rhodonite, and because they called it Rhodonite, that might be why they called it Rhodonite, actually, because they were doing this as, oh, wrong one. This one right here. They were doing it as a, as the Pantone colors. So that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. So that's definitely probably what it makes it confusing. You know, especially when, like, we know, like, if you do know stones and you know what Rhodonite's supposed to look like, it really throws us off. Hello, Wendy. Thank you for joining us. It's so good to see you on here. Christine, I actually don't think it was you because this colorway I think I did with my parents. My parents helped me do some of it, but I don't know. Maybe. All right, so. And then we also have in our kit, we have 4 colors, A, B, C, D. We have about 125 in your A and 50 in the other colors. And of course, you don't need 50 for all of them, but that gives you enough. So if you spill or you want to switch, maybe you want to switch out the colors and you want to go in that order or something, you are welcome to do that. But I am going to use them in here because I'm going to make a matching bracelet to match my sister. You have a tassel and a round jump ring in there with it. So I'm going to, that goes on at the very end. So I'm leaving this inside. We have medium ovals and our crimps in this bag. In this bag, we have a lobster claw and small oval jump rings. So those are a little smaller than our oval. Come on, focus on me. Yeah, exactly, Christine. If it was you, we told you wrong. So they're just a little bit smaller. And then we have a piece of extension chain in the curb chain, and then a 4mm bicone crystal and a head pin. These head pins are 1.5 inches long and 24 gauge. And then we have 3 feet of our fine Soft Flex beading wire. So we are going to make 3 strands. So we're going to cut a foot off of for each one. So there's 3 feet there. And you know what else? There's one other tool that is handy dandy, is a bead stopper. Should have a bead stopper. I did not say a bead stopper. And I forgot to leave a bead stopper on my table when I cleared off my table. So I am going to go run and grab my bead stopper. You need a bead stopper. If you don't have a bead stopper, you can use a alligator clip or a piece of tape or something to just keep the beads from sliding, because you're going to be putting all these seed beads on, and we do not want to lose any of those beads, do we? I'm going to put that off to the side. The first thing we want to do is prep our findings, and so I'm going to pull out the 2 large, oops, sorry, take that back. In here is the small oval jump ring and the lobster. So I have my lobster. I'm going to leave one out. I'm going to put the other one back in, because if I don't, I'm going to lose that, and that doesn't go on until later when I do the crystal. So I want to make sure I don't lose that. So I'm actually going to put it back in the bag, put it even in the big bag, because you know, those little things just like to get lost, don't they? I'm going to pull out the curb chain, because we're going to need that. I'm going to put the crystal and the head pin back in, because we're going to do that later after we do all the stringing of the seed beads. And then I'm going to pull out the 2 medium ovals out of this one. I'm going to put those crimps back. You only need 6 crimps, by the way. We're using 2mm crimp beads, crimp tubes, and you only need 6, but we do put a couple extra just in case if you lose one or So I'm just going to put that away too, because we don't want to lose any of that, right? I know I do that sometimes. And then we are going to attach these together. So the first thing I want to do is take my chain nose pliers here. Hello, Sabrina. Welcome. Well, Mike, yes, you could. You could put a crimp on and crimp it down before you start beading. But what happens is then you either have to have an extra crimp, which fortunately we do in this kit. But if you didn't have extra crimps, if you only had the 6 crimps, that would waste 1 crimp. And if you crimped it onto your thing, you won't be able to adjust your size as well. So by using the bead stopper or a piece of tape or something, that would help you be able to adjust it easier. But I get what you're saying. Adding just one like temporary crimp at the very end so that you just cut it off later and would be a great way if you're stuck and not having, but that if you have extra crimps. If you have extra crimps, you wouldn't want to do that if you don't. If you have only the 6 crimps that you need, because sometimes, you know, you get down to like, ooh, I only have just enough in that color that you want to use that day, and but that is a kind of a good idea to do that. You know, use what you got sometimes. Is anyone else, is it still pushing you guys off? Am I still being clear running? I mean, on my side, it looks like I am being clear on here. Oh, that's a great, Robin. Yes. There's so many things you could use. I never thought about a hair clip. Those little poppy hair clips would work really well. And a clothespin, yeah. Okay, cool. Yep, painter's tape is the type of tape. Washi or painter's tape are the 2 tapes that I prefer to use when I have to use tape to tape it down, because then I don't have to worry about stickiness left over. But, you know, if you're stuck with just Scotch tape, then that's what you use, right? Okay, so then we're going to just keep going and not, maybe it's just, if I'm going clear, then we're going to be, thank you so much for letting me know here. All right, so I'm going to take this small oval jump ring. Now, it is open in that direction, and yes, you could leave it that way. If they come like slightly open, because when you pull them off, that's usually how they're cut. But I am actually going to reopen them in the opposite direction, because I find it's easier for me to put on the parts. I mean, on this one, I just have to do the one. But when I'm putting multiple things together, so I really do like to open them in the opposite direction. Let's go like that. And if it wants to focus, there we go. Open it up a little bit more. And slide this in. So part of the reason why we're adding this little small oval jump ring onto this clasp, because the way this kind of style is, it adds a little bit more movement to make it easier to attach. It also will help keep things a little bit more in the same plane as the other side. So we like to add that one. You could just go with the medium, and then I'm going to just close that up. And then, so I got the small oval jump ring on there. So now I'm going to put the medium oval jump ring onto the small. Now, if you notice, I like to use my pliers in this formation. My dominant hand in the normal and the non-dominant in upside down. If you open and shut your jump rings in a different manner, please do it, whatever is the easiest for you. I just find that this method makes it so that I can hold on to most of that jump ring without distorting the jump ring while I open and shut it. Plus, it doesn't, my hands don't knock into each other. Like if I go this way, they knock into each other. I don't like doing it this way because there's not that much surface of the pliers holding the jump ring. So I tend to either roll in with my pliers or I mark my jump ring with my pliers. So by doing it this way, I can get most of that oval covered, even the round jump rings, and it just makes it a little easier to open and shut. We have a great jump ring 2-in-1 bracelet that if you wanted more information about doing jump rings, we have a video on that, and it goes a lot more into details about how I open and shut jump rings. Oh, good. That's good to know, Laura. Thank you. And then we're just going to move that back and close that. So I added a medium oval jump ring. I'm just prepping these, getting these all ready. And then on my curb chain extension, I am getting my medium oval jump ring. And again, I have a tendency, even though it's already open, I could put that on there, but I like to move it back. I have that habit because then I can run it through easier. I don't know why it's not wanting to focus on what I'm doing today. Let's move that out of the way. That's part of the problem. And close that nice. I always like to check this way too to make sure it's pretty straight. And so that's one medium oval jump ring on one end of the extension curb chain and a small jump ring to the clasp, and then a medium oval jump ring to the small one. Yes, we do, Stacy. It's a great little extension chain. I love the extension chain that we used on our Crystal Crimped, which is a larger linked one, which is lovely. But this one's also nice because it has a little bit more. It's lovely. It's a great, that little file on it gives a little sparkle. It lays nice and flat. It's a fabulous chain. So it's a curb chain. So if you look on our Etsy for curb chain, you'll find it. It's the only curb chain that we have up on our Etsy right now. So I'm going to put these off to the side so that I can get ready to string my beads. So I'm pulling out my fun. Woo! Let's get this all out of our curly mess here. Be very careful not to pull this and get it knotted. Just untwist this. And this is 3 feet here, but I am going to be just needing 1 foot at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off a foot. Really, if you wanted to, you could probably cut a little bit less. I like to have cut off a foot just to give myself, plenty of wire to string back through the crimp beads. And we're going to add our bead stopper onto one end. I like to make sure that it's about a half of a finger or almost a finger long on one end. And then this one's ready to go. Now we're ready to get our beads out. So I'm going to pour out my A. I'm going to do it up here where it's out of the focus because I'm going to lay them out here, and I don't want to change the focus on the camera. So, and I like to just pour out some of my beads, not all of my beads. That way, if my, you know, up here I'm putting them, the ones with the labels next to it so that I can keep, because these are very close in color, and so having them, it's great. But then if this gets moved, since it has some of those beads inside there, I'll know which one it is. So that's part, I like to just leave some in the bag, and I'll pour out more later. And then my D. Okay, so one thing I want to talk about is we have different measurements for this. We are going to be stringing a whole lot of beads, and you're either going to start with 11, 13, or 15 A's. It kind of depends on what size you want. So if you're looking for something that's about 6.5 to 7.5 inches, and the reason why there is a range is that you have 1 inch of extension chain, the curb chain. So that's where it is. So the shortest would be 6.5. The longest would be 7.5. And then a bracelet, then you're going to want to use the 11A. And that's going to be on the beginning and on the end here. If you are doing a bracelet that is running 6 3/4 to 7 3/4, you're going to want to use the 13A. If you are doing a bracelet that you want up to be about 7 to 8 inches, you want to use the 15A. Now I can actually wear all of them because I'm kind of like at that 7.5. And so as you can see with this one is the 11A. It does just fit because of that extension. I do have like 2 more little links. I can move it to give myself a little bit more dangly room. So this one is with the 11A. Now, most people, I would say, probably wants that 11A. That's 6.5 to 7.5. That's going to be more of an average, I think. Or maybe it's like, it's between these two, I think, are going to be the most popular lengths. So you're either going to do 11 or 13, or if you're like me and want to have a little bit extra room, because I will show you what the 15, this one's, okay, I can't do it under pressure. I can't put the bracelet on under pressure, or under the camera, really, is the thing. Let's get the bracelet on, and I can show you what 15/8 looks on me. Well, today the tassel wants to get in the way, and I'm having a hard time getting it in. There we go. Okay, so this one has a lot more room here. See, I can go like that. This one I could just barely get my finger in. This one, the spot that I put it on has that much room, so it dangled. And I'm not even on, oh no, I am at the same spot. So there's like, quite a bit difference there because of the 15A versus the 11A. So choose which one that you want to do. I am going to do 15 for mine today. So I'm going to lay out 15. I like to lay these out. And because it's a very long amount, I might actually do it in stages here. So I'm going to count out 15. Remember, you might be doing 11 or 13 on this step, on this part. You can even play with, so we did it in 2s because that gives you a 1/4 inch about difference. Maybe you want to do 12. Maybe you want something in between. And then we are going to put 1B, and then 2A, 3B. I'll like kind of do these in sections here. So move that up so that there's some space so you can see. 3, because I just realized they look very similar on the camera, don't they? Maybe if I got a little closer. Okay, 3B, 2C. I'm going to curve around here on the side. 2C, 2B, 2D, 2C, 1D. So that's 11, 13, or 15A, 1B, 2B, wait a second, 1A, 2B, oh no, 1B, 2A, oh my gosh, I got myself all confused. Let's start again. 11, 13, or 15A, 1B, 2A. I'm missing things, that's what's happening. 2B, 1A, 3B. My goodness, I miss beats. So this is why I like to lay it out. Because sometimes looking at a long list like that, I get myself all confused. 3B, oops, 2C, 2B, 2D, 2C, 1D. So for those that don't have written instructions in front and you are doing this together, I'm going to quickly just put this right here. I just put on this. You could do a little screenshot real quick. I did that all the way to here. I stopped at 1D there. So that's 11, 13, or 15A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 1A, 3B, 2C, 2B, 2D, 2C, 1D. And that way, and I didn't go any further. I just stopped right there at that spot. We sectioned these out a little bit to make it easier to keep your place, but it's still so many letters and numbers that, as you saw, I did not get mine in the right order. And this is part of the reason why I like to lay them out first. Does this help, Cheryl? I'm going to just leave this here for a second. Awesome. I understand, Sabrina. Videos do make things easier, doesn't it? Yep. All right, so think you probably got that now. Got it corrected on there. And then I'm going to string these up, starting from the side here. And since I have them all laid up, it'll make it a lot easier, right? Oop, sort of. Come on. There you go. Now, sometimes you get a little wonky one. If you see a wonky one in your pile, just put it off to the side. This time, I don't see any so far, but when I was doing one of the samples, I don't even remember what color. It was like really crazy. Okay, you know, they're just a little bit globbly. So this is your first little like 11, 13, or 15 A's. Then the 1B, the 2 A's. It's just a tiny bit different color. But that's what makes the color change so pretty, right? Oops, get that back in there. And then the 2 B's, the 1A, the 3 B's, the 2 C's, the 2 B's, the 2 D's, the 1 C, and the 1 D. Oop, get that D on there. Nope, not flick it. There we go. So we got that first part there. Now we're going to do the middle section, which is easy. It's 1C, 6D, 1C. So we got 1C, 6 D's, and 1 C. Super easy. Oh, and there was the easy section. And then the next section, the last section, is the long all the way to the end, which is actually the reverse of the beginning. So you could, if you wanted to, just look at this and start putting them on in that direction and have a match. I am going to lay them out just to keep it in the spirit of our videos. This part right here is, you're talking about, you need this again. It is 1C, 6 D's, 1C. That's what I just added, Cheryl. Or do you mean the long part? Or you want to hold me to, here, I'll hold this part for the opposite. For a screenshot if you need. So we're going to be putting on 1D, the next section, 1D, 2C, 2D, 2B, 2C, 3B, 1A, 2B, 2A, 1B, and then either your 11, 13, or 15A. And that is going to be, I'm going to lay that out here. So 1D, 2 C's, 2D, Are you meaning this part, this first part? Cheryl? That first part is 11, 13, or 15 A's. 1 B, 2 A's, 2 B's, 1 A, 3 B's, 2 C's, 2 B's, 2 D's, 1 C, and 1 D. Maybe with them separated like that, it's a little easier to see. Probably should have done this one, I guess, because that one has it a little bit better coloration there. With your A, B, A, B, A, B, C, B, D, C, D. Let me know you got that. What's great is once you get one of these done, you get to mirror them, and that's what makes the gorgeousness of the bracelet, is that they're all mirrored. So once you get one done, makes it easy. Oh, look at there. Thank you so much for putting that in the comments. So much. And then the middle section right here is 1C, 6D, 1C. Like in real life, I could see the colors quite differently on this, but I could see how it just changes a little bit on this. And so now that we got, oh, thank you, got the last section right there. It is just the reverse of the beginning. So I'm going to be laying these out and putting them on little bit by little bit. One, just to make it a little bit easier instead of that big long section, I think. 1D, 2 C's. That way maybe you could see it better. 2D. 2 B's. 2 C's. Oh, there we go. That was probably like best. 2 C's. 3 B. I'm going to do it in like this little zigzag around here. That's the 3B, the 1A, 2B, 2A, 1B, and then our little sprinkle of 11, 13, or 15 A's. There we go. So I want to start up here because that is my beginning, which is one of this second half is 1D. I'm going to do it with my left so that I don't cross it over. 2C, 2D, 3. Nope. Why is this? Where's this extra guy coming from? That's an extra guy. I don't know where that guy came from. 2B. I was going to say. Two B, 2C. 3. Must have been on my finger. 3 B's. So I just put those on. 2 B's, 2 C's, 3 B's. One A, 2 B's, 2 A's, 1 B, and then your 11, 13, or 15 A's, whichever size that you are making it. Voila, we're just about done with our first strand. Just about. Now, if you're not sure what size you want, you just kind of start, I would say start with the 13 on your first one. And then from there, you can kind of, because it should fit just about most people. And then you can always adjust it if you wanted to make it a little bit smaller or a little bit larger by adding . But that does, even with the colors very similar, it gives you that nice color change. I mean, it's great when the colors are a little more contrasty like this, too. Have fun with color when you're doing these. I mean, this one, that one has some great color contrast changing. Thank you. Isn't it? I think it is really pretty too. I just love how I love anything that can color change from one color to the next. And part of it is, and even if you get some of this wrong, it really doesn't matter. The whole key about color changing is to start sneaking in the new color, but still adding the old color. So as you see, I did like, I popped one of the new color there, and then I still did my first color, and I added more of the new color. And then I go, oh, I got to add the third color, right? And you'd pop in a little there. You know, it's just a way of, you know, you just kind of want a color change. It also depends on like how much space you have. Like for a necklace, I might have more color change, a longer color change between the B and the C and the C and the D. But because it was a bracelet, I wanted most of the color change to be in this front, this part here. That's why the B and the C are kind of only at like a sprinkling of color change there. But like if you're doing a necklace, you may want to expand that a little bit. And so the key is just to kind of like, you know, just make longer, maybe add more of that color, and it just kind of, you know, in there and just expand it. But we want, and then I wanted, that's why I have so much of the A in the back, is because that is going to be like more in this part of your wrist, and I really wanted a lot of the color change to be right on top of the wrist. So that's why there's not as much color change. And the great thing is, once you, even if you made a little mistake, if you got one out of place or something, if you repeat it on each one of these, no one's gonna know, because it's gonna look like you did it on purpose. All right, so now that we have this, I'm gonna pull out my crimps. Where did my crimps go? I had my crimps. Oh, I put my crimps back in this bag so I wouldn't lose them. So I'm gonna pull out 2 crimps out of here, because we are going to crimp this first one onto our clasp. So I'm going to need 1 crimp for each side. I'm going to start out with the lobster claw side. I'm going to add my crimp, go through the medium oval jump ring of the clasp. Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad you're able to got that all taken care of. Oh, thank you, everyone. I'm so glad you like my colors that I'm playing with today. I'm going to let that drop down. Whoop. Careful, that crimp does like to go into that medium oval, so we want to make sure it's on the C bead side. And then I'm going to take that end and go back into the crimp, and I like to just go down. If you get it crimped well, you don't need to have that little tail go down, but because of, you know, history of just doing this for so long, and there was a time where the crimps didn't crimp as well as they used to. The crimpers didn't work as well. So I have this, like, I still like to put that in, even though technically, for the most part, if you get it crimped, then you don't need to. I'm going to use my crimpers. I love my handy dandy crimpers. Hi, Susie. Thank you. And we have 2 little sets of grooves in our crimpers. We have the crimper part, which is this inner one, and the rounder. Now, I think they kind of look like a little eyeball and a little pair of lips. And so I like to say that we want to kiss it first and then look at it. So, you know, we're going to kiss first and then look to see. We're going to make sure that whole crimp is sitting inside the lips, that first groove. We want to make sure none of it's sticking out. If any of it sticks out, like if I had this and like some of my crimp is sticking out, do you see how there's some of it showing on the left hand side there? It's not going to crimp properly. This crimper is the same thickness, you know, same width of the crimp, right? The height of the crimp is the same width of the pliers. So we want to make sure that it is covered. None of it is peeking on either side before we squeeze down. And before I squeeze, I want a little bit of a loop, but not a whole big amount of loop there. Squeeze down, nice. And that gives you that first little groove. Then I want to look at it, use the rounder part. Oop. And squeeze down. Make sure it's fully covered. None of it sticking on either side. And then squeeze down. And that folds that in half, nice and neat. Now we're going to go over to this other side. So that's one side. And I like to leave this end until the very after I do the second side of crimping, because that way if I cut now, sometimes the beads move and then it sticks out again. So this way I'll just cut at the end one time or two times, one on each side. So then on this side, I just took off my bead stopper and I'm going to put my crimp on. Whoop, that's not a crimp. Where did my crimp go? Okay, well, first of all, we need this. Oh, there's my crimp. Okay, so I'm going to use my crimp and I'm going to go into the medium loop of the curb chain that's attached to the curb chain. So the crimp, I'm going to and let that stay. Thank you. Yeah, I just find that like whenever I cut that, it would just like that, then the beads slide right and then it pops out and then I'm trying to stick that little tail back in. So if I leave it long like that, then I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't slide off, right? So I got my crimp on and then go through the medium loop. And then now I'm going to take my end and go back through the crimp and a few of the beads. It doesn't matter how many, it's whatever feels comfortable to you. So on this side I have 4, the other side I probably have 8. Whoops, don't lose it. Ooh, get back, crimp, crimp, go back, go back, go through the loop. It's like jumping hoops. Come on, you can it's not a ring of fire, you can get through it. There you go. No, yeah. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's get back in. Oh, now it's 6. Whatever. Okay, got my end. I like to make sure that this curves in a nice circle. If I leave this straight, it's really easy to pull this so tight that when I want it to go into a bracelet circle, it doesn't go as nicely. So I just make sure all the beads are down, that there's no slack over here. I leave it in a circle, hold on to the extension while I pull onto the wire, and see now it makes a nice curve. Pull it until it has a good sized loop. You want something where you want it large enough that the findings still kind of maneuver well, it moves, because when you are fiddling trying to get something on, that's where you get more wear and tear. So that will make it last longer. If you have this so tight on there, sometimes that will make it harder for you to manipulate your clasp. The added jump rings do help too. That's another thing that we do. So again, we're going to look at the lips. We're going to do the lips first, then kiss it first, and then look and see who you're kissing. I know, opposite of what we should do in real life. Squeeze down and then rotate. Get that in there nice. Make sure you're not, now remember, it's the exact same thickness of the pliers, so none of the crimp should be out, but you also want to make sure that you don't accidentally grab hold of those seed beads in your pliers too, and which I almost did. So see how some of it is sticking out? I'm going to move this over to cover the whole crimp, and now I'm not risking grabbing that crimp bead too. And there we go. Now that one's crimped. Am I frozen for anyone else? I know, I think today it is just a very glitzy, you know, the weather's making all over the place, really funky internet, right? All right, so now the flat side of my cutters are going to go towards, I'm going to hold on to the tail that I want to cut, and I'm going to get in there and kind of pull at it, push it, and cut. Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I'm not frozen on people, because sometimes it's hard to tell on my end if it's my end that is doing it or if it's your end. And sometimes, you know what, I don't know. It seems like Facebook is being glitchy for so many people. All right, so that's my first one. I got to make 2 more just like this. And because I have this one already, I'm going to just use this as an example, you know, as my example to match. I'm going to just take my last, you know, I have 2 feet left on my Soft Flex. I'm cutting it in half. Since I measured 1 foot off of it, now all I have to do is cut it in half. And I have 2 1-foot pieces. So there's that. I'm going to get my Bead Stopper, or whatever you're using, about, you know, almost a finger length down. And I'm going to use this as a guide to string. Let's get some. Woo! Let's just fling beads around. Luckily, there's extra beads in here, so it's okay. I don't have to go hunting down those beads I just flung across. Oh, awesome. I'm glad. Oop, those are B's. We don't want B's. We want some A's. So I'm putting on my 15 A's. Of course, if you're doing 11 or 13, put the one that you used. Of course, it'd be good if I actually count them. So I typically like to count a large number like that first, because what I end up doing is recounting so many times. But I just jumped right in and started stringing. So let's count these out. And I think I put too many. I just went to town, didn't I? It's a good thing I'm counting them now. Ooh, yep. Too many. We don't need those 2. Boom. Okay. Next is, so I got I have my 15, and then I have a 1B, 2A, 1B. Lovely about this, kind of project, it looks pretty by itself, you know, as a single strand, but because we're doing the multiple, it adds to the, you know, it just adds to the richness of the colors, but it also gives me a guide, so I can just go like this and line it up and start beading to these. And match them up. Boom, boom. And if you got your first one, you get to do the same thing, huh? Makes it nice and easy. I love it. Makes it less thinking. It's just that first one, right? How to get that first one. Get all those out of the way, then now I can just repeat. I probably should just bring this up, bring my beads closer. You know, do you travel with your mat? Does it start to go away from you? Or do you get it in your lap? I find people either bring the beads into their lap or they push them away. I have a tendency to be a pusher. But I know some people that are a puller. Which one are you? It's kind of fun. I mean, some of us don't, and it depends on what kind of mat you have. But, you know, on slippery tables with a bead mat like this, it's either I usually push them away and you're a pusher. Yes, I'm a pusher too. But I've seen it both ways. I've seen it as a, but you're like either one or the other. One or the other. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm going to have to pour out a few more of these. Let's get those out. That helps, Stacy. That's a wonderful thing. Now, if, one thing that I do like, if you do have a tendency to do it more, I use some shelf lining. Sometimes I'll put the shelf, like if I do a lot of it, because some days I do it more than other days. I sometimes will put a piece of that shelf liner stuff underneath my mat, and it is a great way to help keep that. But yes, stack your mats and they won't do it nearly as much. Or get a handy dandy bead on it board, right? I know when we did our it's interesting that there's so many pushers in the comments, but it seems like whenever I have the live classes, I have all pullers. Maybe it's because in the past I don't do very many live classes now that are in that same, because the classes that I do have, we have to be spaced out a little bit more, but when there's 6 to a table, I think maybe that's why there's some pullers, because there's you're trying to keep in your space maybe. Oh, like this. Okay, this is one of those wonky ones. If you get one that looks a little different than the others, it will kind of throw off how the beads lay. So just disregard that. We have plenty beads. You can put another one on. Yes, Amanda, very true. Oh, that's handy to have a ruler on the mat. Nice. Yes, April is definitely a puller, I think. I've seen her pull. Yes, having it in a tray really is helpful. And I do have, like, there's some trays that are made for this size mat, which is wonderful. And I do like them, but then on a cheap route, I will go to the dollar store and get some like cookie, the jelly roll cookie sheets with the edges all the way around, and then I'll just cut my mat down to match that size, because they are a little bit smaller than the mat. Or I don't know. Well, it's not really the length. It's like the width or something. Sometimes I'll fold it, but when I fold it, I find I have a tendency to push it out because the fold just wants to pop out for some reason. But that's that's what happens to me. Everybody, they all have different experiences. So I'm just using my first one as a guide and just beading up right next to it. See how nice it is to be able to just go, okay, that, I can match up the beads. It's handy dandy, handy dandy. And then I'm going to make sure I put on the same. Jennifer, I'm doing a new one that is going up today. This is the Dragonfly Dreams. If you've done a flowing fringe with us, most of these colorways that we did, not all of them, but most of them correspond to an existing earring that we did. Now, if you haven't done flowing fringe, it is not currently available. We just reordered beads so that we can make more kits because we had a feeling that some people might want to do them. It's a little fringe earring, a 3 fringe earring that goes with, it's instead of 4 colors that we're using today, it uses 7 colors and changes colorways from between the 7 colors in size 11 seed beads, and in you'll probably see the flowing fringe. Okay, I'm having a hard time getting my bracelet off that I'm trying to show you. Let's see if I can get this bracelet off so I can show you the thing. But yeah, the flowing fringe will be updated very soon, I think, because we reordered some of the beads. But like this one is our to go with our Harvest Rainbow. This one was to go with our green ombre one that we did. We had our Hot August Night one that we did. And then I forgot what we called this one. So these all kind of like oh, and our pastel. Where's our pastel? We did our pastel rainbow too. So this one kind of goes with the pastel rainbow, even though it's not a full rainbow. You only have 4 colors, so it's a little harder. So it's a little different, but we wanted them to kind of correspond because the fringe is 3 fringes and these are 3 strands. So this one is going to mimic the Dragonfly Dreams. Oh, yeah, I'm still on. We're going. I'm so glad you were able to join us here. Absolutely, Sabrina. You can put anything on there to make it cute, right? Absolutely. Charms would look so pretty on it. Awesome, Cheryl. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. Thank you, June. Yeah, is kind of mimicked those flowing fringe. You probably have seen them. If you haven't, it is like the main picture that is, I think, on our Etsy. So we're on somewhere. And so whenever we share a link to us, we have that one comes up a lot of times. All right, let's go through. Let's see. We're almost done with I'm almost done with the second layer, and then the next one's going to go even faster, right? Okay. So I just going to always double check that you have your beads are lining up so that they look, because it will stand a mistake because of the repetitiveness of this, of having the multi-strands. It is going to show up a little bit more sometimes because of that. So, I mean, if you repeat the mistake in the same spot, it doesn't show because it has a repeat. But when you don't, then, oh, it's like this. See, I think I just goofed somewhere. I got 2. I'm matching there. I'm not matching there. Oh, well, see, that just shows you. One of my beads on my very first strand, one of my B, that's supposed to be right here. This is supposed to be 2, right? See, there's 2 there, and there's 2 there. This is the one I'm trying to do. So I am sorry for anyone that is following me exactly and didn't follow the ones that are in there. You're going to have 1 bead missing on there. But does it matter? I did not notice it. And like I said, if you repeat the mistake, it just looks like a repetitiveness. I didn't even notice it. Well, I did notice it, but I didn't notice it either. I notice it for different reasons than because it's repeating. Okay, so I'm going to get, because I want those to line up the same, so I'm going to put my crimp on, go through my, I'm putting on my lobster claw side, go through that medium jump ring, go through the crimp and a few beads. Kind of aim those loops to be very similar. Don't worry if they're not. They hang just fine with that. Ah, yes. Well, that's true. Sometimes I don't have a tassel in the right color even. Or sometimes I don't have a tassel. Sometimes I don't have a tassel in the right color. So yes, use it. You know, you can dangle a charm. You can make another bead charm by using another head pin with a bead. Squeeze that down with the lips first, and then with the eye, squeeze down, boom. Yeah, and you don't necessarily need to have it. Hello, Julie. Welcome. Good to see you on here. We just we have a tendency to like things to dangle off of our bracelet. So you're going to see a lot of that with us. I think it makes it a fun. So, but it's fun to use so many different things. So I am making sure I'm laying this flat here on this side, and I'm bringing it over and laying it flat so that I'm putting it on the same side of the jump ring so that it doesn't twist. Okay. And go back through, and like before I pull this all the way, I'm going to make sure that this goes into a circle nicely so that I don't pull it too tightly. Bring it up. That looks good. There's no big gaps. Little gaps are fine because that gives you the drape, but big gaps just looks messy, right? So we're going to keep big gaps away. Little gaps we're not going to worry about. Gives it more. So go with, make sure none of it's showing on either side. Squeeze down with the lips first, and then rotate it and go to squeeze down with the eye, the rounder. If you're worried, okay, if you're worried that you didn't crimp it all the way, you can always take that flat end right there at the very tip and get in here, and with the flat end, just squeeze that down a little bit more if you feel like you didn't crimp it down all the way. I think you probably did, but sometimes we get like, oh, did I do it right? And then that will just help make it a little more sturdy. And another thing is, before you actually trim these, pull at it and make sure it doesn't move, and then you'll know that you have it nice and tight. Sometimes we go to cut this and we don't realize that it is loose still, because right now, if it was loose, like if I pull on this, if I pulled really hard, and sometimes I'll take my pliers to pull it because my hands are slipping. And if I did this and it moved, then I know I need to go in here and just kind of do that whole smush that down into each other a little bit more. But it should just be okay. That's just a little handy dandy, little helpful little, like if you're new or uncomfortable, maybe you just like you could go and have not be new, but then like have that one time, you put it on and it goes because you didn't get that crimp on all the way, and then you're just a little more hesitant the next time, right? All right, so ready to do the next one. Now if I wanted to, I could totally crimp one end on, but I'm going to just do it this way. And we're going to use this as we're going to match this up, right? Just use that as a guide. Bead up my third and last strand. Yes, always good to test it, right? It's easy to just like go and cut it though, because you're like, oh, I'm done, you know, get excited, you're done. I have a feeling that the one that I missed is one because I like flicked the bead. But that's okay. I'm going to repeat it on every single one of these, and it will look like I did it on purpose. That is just the way I made the design. Woohoo. Well, thank you all for hanging in with me today. It's been, I love this project, and I'm so happy to share it with you. Oops, this color is, that one is just a little off, so I'm not going to use that one. But it's been really fun beading with you today. Just matching my colors here, going along. Do. Isn't it fun when you can just match the next strand? You don't have to think on these ones. You just kind of like, just visually look at it and go, those are the beads. Those are the beads I'm putting on right next. I am so glad to hear that. I truly look forward to Saturdays to bead with you, with everyone. I love that some people bead with me at the same time and others are just enjoying the video and gonna bead later. And if you are catching the replay, I appreciate you too, because I understand that sometimes this time of day does not work, and sometimes you just gotta do it on another time. So I appreciate that you take time off to do that. Now that I have everything, I'm matching it up. I'm double checking. I did put my crimp on already because I got excited. But I'm going to lay this out. Me too. Well, okay. Anniversary follower. How are you an anniversary follower? I'm excited about this. I have no idea what that means, but I see people that are, okay, I got distracted. Sorry, I get distracted sometimes. I just noticed that some people's little things say that they're a share or a milestone follower. That's kind of cool. Or anniversary follower. Oh, those are so neat. I never seen the top fan. How fun is that? I want to know what that really means. I'm excited. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. I have no idea. I'm sure it means something in the Facebook world, but you know, like, what is the anniversary is what I want to know. Yay, Gail! I'm so excited to see how yours turned out. Isn't it fun when you get it all done? I know. I that's what I was like, what does that mean? There's so many new little, like, you get these little badges I get that you when you're so who knows? Facebook, they have their own thing, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna lay this out and make sure that this is nice and flat, that nothing is twisted. I got the flat, that's flat there, this is flat here, so that I'm gonna put, I got my crimp on. I'm gonna go through. Now I have a tendency to go up from behind. Don't ask me why. It doesn't matter. You can go down. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna say I go up for whatever reason. That is, I've done it both ways, but I have a tendency to go under up from underneath. And then through the beads, the crimp bead and a few beads. This time I guess it's 3. Hold on to that lobster, pull it up, making sure that it's not, you know, it's nice and flat on that side. We want to make sure everything lines up nicely. We're going to crimp this. I know, I'm so intrigued. Squeeze down. Because this is not our, like, it's been more than a year now, because we started doing Facebook Lives in April of 2020. So it doesn't make, so that's why I'm kind of confused. But hey, whatever. We'll take it, right? Then I'm going to let this come down over to this side and make sure that I am laying everything nice and flat, and so that I'm putting it on the same side. So since I did it on the bottom side here on this one, I'm doing it on the bottom side on this one. Well, that is interesting. I am so confused what they are doing. They have their own thing, don't they? Add on my crimp, go through my medium oval jump ring, go back. Now I pick it up and not worry about it. Go back through the crimp and a few of the beads. Pull. Make sure before I pull it all that it goes nicely in a curved fashion to go on my wrist, right? Nothing's going funky. Love it. Nothing's too tight. Going in here and crimping my crimp. Well, yeah, I mean, we really, our own page should not be a anniversary follower. That's kind of funny, but whatever, who knows. Okay, got that. Tight, yep. Pull it tight, good. Now I'm going to cut off these. And then the last things we get to do are putting our tassel and making our little crystal dangle. So first thing I'm going to do is get my tassel goes on later. We're going to make our little, we're going to get our, see, I put it in my bag so I wouldn't have didn't lose it. So I have my last small oval jump ring that we're going to need. We have a 4mm bicone crystal, and we have our 1.5 inch. Now, normally we do a 2 inch. We just had these 1.5 inches, and we decided to match the head pin to our tassels. Only come with silver and gold. And so if it was even though I'm using gunmetal on this, even though I used copper findings on this, my tassel's gold. So I am gonna, oops, that one's an old one. That's a different thing. We didn't swap that one out. But anyway, here, I'll show you on this one. We did a silver on this one, so we get a silver. So we get a silver head pin on this, but when you match the jump rings and all the other stuff, it doesn't matter. It just goes with it. Adds a little interest, nothing big. If the tassels came in other colors, we would have gotten them, but you know, they only come in silver and gold, so we're gonna work with it, right? I love that, Catherine. I cannot wait to see your Christmas one. Well, I feel like, Sandra, that you have been a super fan before. Because you definitely are. I loved your post, by the way. Since we didn't really have an announcement for this until today, you did a nice little post about it, and I appreciate that. So I have my crystal on my head pin. I'm going to use my round nose pliers. Yes, we need to get some, we should get some Just Bead It shirts. That'd be fun. I am going to leave a little bit of space there because I need some wrap space, right? Twist away with the pliers just slightly. I don't go full 90. I just go like 1/8 of a turn or like 45-degree angle. Then bring my wire up over down in front of my beads, or my one bead. And then reposition, putting that back onto the bottom jaw. Pull the wire around to finish the loop. Switch over to, now you could hang this directly, but that's what our extra little oval jump ring is that this is going to attach. It gives it more movement too, gives us another link. It's fun. But if you wanted to, you could attach this directly to your curb chain or your extension. I'm going to just wrap this around. I'm going to switch over to my other hand to hold, and I'm going to use my, because this is a very short piece, I'm going to use my other pliers to coil this around. Can I say the words? I don't know. We'll try. There we go. Cut really close. Push that little end in. I have a couple crystals to put on some of the other samples that we didn't get the crystals on. So if somebody, let me know if you need to see that one more time, and I'll do that after I hook these up. I'm going to use my small oval jump ring. Whoosh. Open it up. This is where it makes it easier. See, if I hold it and I can just kind of poke down into that. I like to dangle my chain over my finger, and because that oval is since I opened it away, I can just lay that last hook over my finger and kind of aim it between there and kind of go up against my finger, and that makes it a lot easier for me to put it on. When it's the other way, I have a hard time putting on linking my jump rings to chain. So that's another reason why I open them that way. Ovals or rounds, either one. Close that up. There you go. Oh, no. Okay, I closed it, but it's not even. So I'm going to go back. You know, this is another little handy dandy tip right here. I'm giving you all these tips, and then I have my Q&A next week, and I guess I'm running out of things to say. I don't know. I won't have anything else to show. But what I was going to say, if you're not sure if it's closed, if you don't have like magnifiers or good lighting that moment, take your phone, set it up, and look underneath your phone. You can zoom in and really tell if it is open or closed. And so it is closed, but it's kind of crooked. So I'm going to try to reshape that real quick here by pushing down a little bit when I go to do that. There we go. That looks better to me. All right, so it is closed. And that part of my bracelet is done. Now I have my tassel to put on. My tassel and the round jump ring that we need. Now, the reason so a lot of times I like to use ovals when I put on findings, because see how the opening stays on the side and it doesn't, like the rounds kind of maneuver around in a circle. So when you are putting on stuff, it just like flips and flips, and sometimes it kind of opens up. So by using these ovals for the findings, you're going to have a much sturdier closure. The jump rings are going to stay closed, but you need the ovals don't fit in this kind of wide, the width of this tassel here. It doesn't fit very well, so we have to use a round for it, and that's okay. This is a nice small 4mm round that we're using. You can go to up to a 6mm if you need to, because I know that sometimes these are small. And we're just gonna open that up. It does look like peacocks, doesn't it? We call it Dragonfly Dreams because these are, I always think of dragonflies in these colors. Granted, there are some beautiful dragonflies that are reddish orange, and there's some other dragonflies out there. But yeah, whenever there's those purples and the teals together, I have a tendency to think of dragonflies. So it is called Dragonfly Dreams. I'm gonna go through my tassel. You know, Joyce, you can definitely put crimp covers. We didn't on this one. We just made this as a simple just crimping project because crimp covers are a hit miss with people. Some people can do them very well. Some people have problems. And so we like to you know, do kind of a combination in our, you know, sometimes we'll do crimp covers and sometimes we will leave them just with a matching crimp. Definitely can do it. It won't crowd them up. I think it would look really pretty with the crimp covers on there. One thing I would suggest though is not to necessarily putting them on after you're done crimping. Like, do a crimp, then the crimp cover, come around and do the crimp, and then the crimp cover. On this side, don't do them after you've done it all the way crimped, because sometimes when you put the crimp covers on after you've crimped the whole thing, if you don't have enough give, if there's not enough like little bit of a lax in there, like that's on the border of not being enough, that when the crimp cover goes around, it tightens up all the beads and then it makes your bracelet a little stiff. But that's the only thing that I would warn, like put them on as you crimp. So whoops, I lost this, so I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to get my tassel on, and what I'm going to hook it to is not the end. This is going to be my dangle end. I'm actually hooking it to the medium oval where all the little strands are hooked to, and the curb chain is hooked to. In there. Okay, did I get this on here? I dropped it. Let's see if I got it. Under there. Well, yeah, kind of. Let's see if I can get there a little bit closer. That would probably hold on to that, no problem, but we're going to see. Since I'm under the camera, I can look at this a little bit closer and kind of get it there. That looks better. Yeah, but I would definitely, yeah, crimp covers would look really pretty on it. Yes, these are my favorite colors too. I love these colors. I love orange and purple too, which is why this one has orange and purple. But now I have mine. So this one had the 15, just to kind of give you an idea of the size difference. This is the same one in the 11. And what's nice is, oh, might have to go out a little bit more. So it does give you, there is about a ½ inch difference in seed beads, but because of the extension, as you can see, the longest on this one still is short on this one, and so it is doable for a lot of people on that shorter. I gotta put this one on. It doesn't match what I'm wearing because I'm wearing orange and green today, but who cares, right? Who cares? Gotta wear it. I just made it. Sometimes I wear things that don't match what I'm wearing because I just was too excited to wear it because I just finished it, or it just makes me happy, right? So sometimes you gotta just wear what makes you happy. There we go. Now I have that one on this side. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Got that purple up front. Got my little dangle. What's kind of cool with the extension, you got two little dangles that way. Oop, I think I twisted myself, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Awesome. I'm so excited. I got mine done. I'm so happy that you joined me today. I hope to see what you make, whether you are doing it right now with me or if you do it in the future. Please share with us. Share on our Facebook page, or if you're part of our Just Bead It Happy Beaders group, share there. We love seeing what people make, what you do with your beads or your kit. You can do the same kit. You could do the same one that I have on, you know, that we've done, but it doesn't matter. I love seeing it because it's your version, and it makes me so happy to see everybody's work. Don't forget, this week, starting now, we are doing, oops, I spelled that wrong, a photo contest, Halloween photo contest, anything with beads or beading techniques that is made for Halloween or fall by October 29th using the hashtag JBI Halloween 2021 will get you entered into our photo contest, where we will put all your names into a word name generating wheel thing, and we will spin it and see who wins. Next Saturday, we are going to do the Q&A with me, the Halloween edition. Hey, you know, it'd be fun if you want to. I'm going to be dressed up for Halloween. Are you going to dress up? It doesn't even mean that you have to have a costume. You could just be in the spirit. You wear your new, maybe you made a pair of Spirit of Fall earrings, or maybe you made a pumpkin and you have that sitting next to you. Bring your fun and join me for the photo contest winners and some trivia and some fun little games, plus some Q&A with me. And if you have any questions that you want to know the answer, email me at joyce@justbeaditconcord.com. Those questions by the end of the 29th. That way I can go, if you wanted to know how to use a crimper, I can make sure I have my crimpers out. If you wanted to know, how I thread my needle, I'll have thread and needle out. If you wanted to know how to put a crimp cover on, I can have crimp covers ready. So if you have those questions, who knows, maybe it's something else. You can ask other questions too. Maybe you want to know more about my beading experience. Whatever your questions, where, send them there and I will answer those questions. And that way I am all ready and geared. I'll try to answer questions in the comments during that day, but sometimes it's hard to grab everything you need to show it, right? I can answer it, but it's easier when I can show. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you joined us for today's lesson. Awesome, Stacy. Go Halloween spirit. And the following November 6th is our cuff with our wired chevron cuff. The event page will be going up this weekend, and our Etsy listing will be going up very soon, probably this weekend, to get those for November 6th. That's one of our first up to bat for November. How fun is this? If you don't know, this is inspired by a bracelet that I made during the Bead-A-Lon Design Challenge in February of this year. They gave us this yellow, Pantone color yellow enameled chevron chain, and I made this with some of the supplies that they had. And they finally got these chains available for purchase, so we were able to get some so we can make them, because I know some people have asked me about that cuff a few times, so we finally get to do it. I'm so excited about that. Let's see, I don't know if there's anything else, right? Absolutely. For the photo contest, yeah, use whatever. Oh, thank you, Sharon. That's so nice. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let's see if I can switch this around. There I am. Hi. I did it. Yeah, for the photo contest, you can use whatever beads you have that you have made for, maybe you beaded something for a Halloween costume. Maybe you just did Halloween themed jewelry. Maybe you made a pumpkin cover with us earlier this month. Maybe you did the earrings. Maybe, whatever you did that is autumn or Halloween with us. I know I will accept autumn. I know we're supposed to do Halloween, but I would accept with the hashtag, as long as you get that hashtag JBI Halloween 2021 on your post. You could post it on your own page. Make sure it's public though, so that we will see that hashtag. If you have a private page, it won't show. You can post it on our Just Bead It page. You can post it to JBI Beater group, any of those places, just as long as it is a public post, not a private post, so that we can see that hashtag. That hashtag is how we're going to find your post and be able to enter you into the contest, okay? And yeah, it could be anything that you made. We figured we have a week to post. Normally when we do a photo contest, we like to give you a little bit more of a lead up, but that's part of the reason why we're like, yeah, whatever you've already made, what you're making this month for it, right? I love Halloween. Yes, it's one of my favorite. Possibly because I just celebrated my birthday, and I'm an October go Halloween baby, right? With my couple of my other fellow Halloween babies out there, October babies. But yep, love it. thank you so much. I had such a fun day with you. I cannot wait till next week when we get to Halloween it up and answer some questions and play some games with you. And so 2 p.m. See you then. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy the rest of the day. If you are in my area or in any area that's getting a storm, be careful out there. If you have nice weather, enjoy it. If you have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week. Oh, wow, that's so cool. I didn't realize it was available, so I thought I was leaving until I saw. Yes, our promo code is still valid until the 31st. $10 off a $50 purchase, and it is available to use on our Etsy page, and it is available to use on our JBI Beads page. You want to use Fall 10, FALL10, in the promo code section to get your $10 off your $50 purchase. Good all until the 31st. You got a whole week. Have a fantastic, bye.